Well, I mean, one of the other benefits of the top shelf version compared to the original version in Taboo is that, like you were saying, Melinda's colours seem a lot more vibrant in the new version, but also subtler at the same time. And also it's been relettered in the sense that you have different voices in the story, and they have different fonts representing each one.
To a certain degree, with the fonts, I mean, it's kind of, I think that the font that's used throughout in the dialogue was specially designed from For Lost Girls by Melinda and our letterer Todd Klein. And this font now exists. It's called TK Debbie, and sort of he just combined his initials with her name. And it was based upon, we looked at a lot of old Edwardian books, and we thought we didn't want something that was too fancy, because when you've got male characters talking, it would have looked perhaps a bit wrong, or would have given the wrong kind of intonations. But we thought with that one, it was a nice balance. It was kind of an Edwardian, it's got an Edwardian stiff upper lip to it, but it was quite delicate, quite feminine. So, I mean, the main thing that we differentiated the characters with was the use of the motifs.
The framing of the panels as well.
Yeah, the framing of the panels. I mean, like in all of these bits of Dorothy's Kansas history, you've just got these wide panoramic horizontal shots, you know.
Yeah.
And whereas for the Wendy sequences, it's very upright. It's like the bars of a Victorian Park railing. Everything's very enclosed within these black borders.
Yeah.
Very repressed, you know. And for Alice, we've just got these kind of ellipses that have always generally got an image of reflection in them. Like the Dorothy ones have kind of, they've got their elements and their kind of colour scheme and approach. The Wendy ones have sort of generally got shadows all over them. The Alice ones have reflections. They were kind of motifs that we wanted to use for each of the girls, and of course their actual voices, the way that they talk.
Yeah.
You know, sort of. Yeah, I mean, it was very fully realised, the entire project, and I remember when we first approached Chris Staros, I remember him asking, how would you like to see this book produced? Which is entirely the wrong question to ask Melinda.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that was it. I mean, sort of, but, I mean, he perhaps swallowed hard when she said, yes, we would like it all like this, but he said, well, we'll see what we can do. The only thing that Chris wasn't able to do was that, I think it was me who suggested this, I suggested the book might be perfumed. And if he could have done it, then he would have done, but he said that there was no perfume where they were certain it wouldn't discolour the paper. So we went, he got some very high quality paper, which actually, to my mind, smells better than the finest Chanel. You know, you can really bury your face in Lost Girls, and it's such a great quality paper. It adds to the experience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still get a frisson reading those old Titan reprints of 2000 AD. There's something about the ink they use that's really evocative.
Absolutely.
Another question about the going from a serialised comic to one that comes out as a sort of 3-volume epic. Presumably that then means you don't have to worry about hitting the 6-monthly deadlines. You can think more about the complete work.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, like, when we originally structured Lost Girls, we were originally thinking, well, there isn't anywhere where we could bring out a work like this as a whole thing, and it would be best if we could finance it by making it episodic, so that we could finance it as we went along.
Yeah.
But I don't know, you know, the sort of, we originally thought that, well, there's a lot of foreign anthology magazines. Anthology magazines seems to be the main places that we could probably serialise this. So why don't we structure this so that it is in 8-page instalments, so that there are 10 instalments to a volume, and that there are 3 volumes. And that seemed to work. It gave us 240 pages. So it also kept it tight, because I'd noticed when I was doing Halo Jones for 2000 AD that there was something very good about having to deliver it in 5-page chapters, because you had to make each chapter perfect in itself so that it actually worked as a standalone thing. And that was good. That encouraged us to try and make each chapter of Lost Girls something that stood alone, that had got its own kind of special features or sort of its own approach, you know. And that, I think, yeah, we'd got the whole thing structured from the very beginning, but the kind of coloration of it, the tone of it, we were able to sort of keep that polished to a fairly fine lustre all the way through by doing it in these small groups. And of course, yes, I mean, ultimately it was meant to be seen as a 3-volume book. So this is the way that it is from Top Shelf, is the way that it was always meant ultimately to be.
Yeah.
You know.